All right, it's time for Mail Call Thursday.
Is it that time already?
It is. It feels like just yesterday we were doing last week's. And then the day before that, we were doing the week before that.
Oh, Lord.
If you're a young listener, let me tell you, enjoy long days now, because the older you get, the faster they fly by.
So it seems, man. Just a long march to the grave.
Yeah, well, truth. So we're the Podcasting Dead. Don't do too much of an introduction, because if you found this, odds are you already listened to our podcast. But if you are finding us new on the internet, we are the Podcasting Dead. We do talk about The Walking Dead, but we also talk about Game of Thrones, current events. We have a Random Ramblings podcast, this podcast. So lots of different options out there. But if you are new, go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button. Like, it doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't hurt, right?
No, it feels pretty good, actually.
We'll give social media info after the podcast, so stay tuned to that. You can follow us on our own social medias. But in the meantime, let's get it going. JP, what's our first question?
All right. Now, this one's just a comment, I think. Brian Rogalski. I hope I said your name right, Brian. I love you, mean it. 6 days ago, actually, the more likes and shares you get, the higher your Google SEO. Hence, people would, in fact, find you on the interweb. Smiley face. That is why you should always like your own content. Another smiley face. Okay, well, that's cool. So we need to start liking it.
Really ramping up those likes, yeah.
Yeah, man. Jeep, 6 days ago, and you're going to love this, Justin.
I don't like the way you said that.
No, Jeep goes on to say, Ocean Lakes has bats too, LOL.
I saw that. I mean, it probably just flew in, so I left the door open, but bats. I did see that.
I don't like no bats, man.
But you love Batman.
Yeah, I like Batman, but I don't like no bats. Anyway, be glad you got a girl, because boys are crazy when they're younger. I was in the emergency room more times than I can count with mine.
I can see that with my nephew.
I had 4 boys.
Why are you reading Jeep's comment like...
Mail call.
4 boys.
Mail call. Mail call. I said it 3 times. Did either one of you ever do something stupid when you were a kid that landed you in the hospital?
I mean, I ate a whole bottle of Tylenol.
Jeez, man, that's dangerous.
It is.
That's thin your blood out.
It was Tylenol or something. Yeah, I was little, and my dad took his eye off of me for like 1 second, and I opened up the... It's like Mitch Hedberg said. He was, I think is it Advil? I can't remember, but he was like, Advil has got a candy coating on their pills. It is delicious. If you do not want me to take more than 2 to 3 Advil, do not put a delicious candy coating on the Advil.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, when I was a kid, I mean, I was little. I can't remember how much, how old I was, but I was at my grandma. I still vaguely remember them freaking out. Like, I don't remember much about it, but yeah, I had a whole bottle of pills. They had to go get my stomach pumped and stuff.
I did lots of stupid stuff, but nothing that got me in the hospital. Now, my little, well, I mean, it's not a nephew, because my cousin's kid, he ate one of my mom's blood pressure pills when he was a little boy. He's still a little boy, but he's an even littler boy. And that was a big deal, man. Like the ambulance came down there. They said that can have like permanent brain damage to a kid, blood pressure medicine. Very dangerous, very, very dangerous.
Didn't know that.
But no, I went to the hospital once with a broken arm, but I was just playing in the church gym, so nothing stupid.
I got lucky, man. I did a lot of stupid stuff. At one point, I was like, am I superhuman? Because I had some nasty, like, four-wheeler wrecks and falls and stuff, and I've just been fortunate to have never hurt
like
myself
Bruce Willis
that bad.
and Unbreakable.
Right, yeah. I mean, I've straight up, like, I remember flying one time down the four-wheeler trail and, like, hitting this log that was going across, and like it sent us in the air and turned. I mean, like, the four-wheeler landed on top of me and we slid. So like we went upside down, landed with the four-wheeler. They threw my cousin off. Like, he went like way away from the four-wheeler, but it landed on me and slid me. And I mean, I just kind of pushed the four-wheeler off of me and had a few scrapes and was like, well, let's go through here a little bit slower next time.
You really want to mess yourself up? Did you ever get on a three-wheeler?
Yes, and those things are dangerous.
They are so easy to flip, man.
I mean, it's because you have that, it's so tipsy at the front with that one wheel. You just turn that one wheel and, yeah, you're right. I remember my parents were thinking, they got us a four-wheeler, but I remember I said something about a three-wheeler, and my dad was like, hell no, those things
they're dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Now, for our UK fans, a four-wheeler is what you would call a quad bike.
And we call them ATV. Well, ATV is used to be what people would call four-wheelers, but now there's so many things that are encompassed in ATVs, like dirt bikes, four-wheelers, Raptors, and Gators and all of that.
I never knew it was called anything but a four-wheeler until years later. And ATV, what is that? But yeah, four-wheeler ATV. And for our UK friends, a quad bike.
Okay.
So yeah, there you
Quad
go.
bike.
Quad, yes. Marcus Douglas, 6 days ago, mail call. This doesn't have to be on mail call, just replying, so it might be long.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Oh wow,
that's that's a long one. It's not a question, but read through that when you get a chance, and then we'll come back.
Wow.
But that was the one that was we talked to last week. That's
our friend with the anxiety.
Right? Yeah, and he kind of gives you the background there. Like I said, man, we still just say if you need anything, you just hit us up. We got you. We'll listen.
I'll definitely read that, but if I try to read it aloud, we're going to be here all day.
Yeah, and I read it last week, and it was very, I feel for you, man. Just give us a holler if you need anything. We got you back.
All right, Phyllis9654, 6 days ago, hashtag telling the dark. Justin, I found your narrations on YouTube.
Oh, God. Nope.
Okay,
skip it. Keep going. Keep going.
Well, the comments there, anyone can see it.
Yeah, they can go, but they can if they want to, they can put the effort.
Cat's out of the bag, brother.
Go on to the next one.
You told them about the cat.
Moving on.
All right.
It's not that I don't care if they see it. I mean, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. It's just
you're not.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, maybe when we're alone, we can hash it out together.
Maybe so.
You can lay down on your couch this time. Usually, I'm the one on your couch. But
that's true.
Perhaps we can.
I'm listening to your stuff this time. I can. Yeah.
All right. Brian Akeem, 6 days ago, mail call. What are some of the funniest shows, movies you guys have ever seen? I think my favorites are The Three Stooges and Beverly Hills Ninja. Oh, man, old Chris Farley movie.
I love Beverly Hills Ninja.
I've never seen it. I'm going to sneeze.
I was like, are you trying to give me a signal here or something?
I'm sorry. No, that was a big old sneeze.
That pre-sneeze face, man. I was like, is that... I don't know, man. Tucker and Dale versus Evil really cracked me up. JP still hadn't seen that, I don't think, right?
No.
You need to. It's on Netflix. Really good.
As far as me, there's only 2 movies I've ever went to the theater and laughed out loud. You want to know what they are?
Yes.
Okay, good, because I was going to tell you anyway.
Good.
One is The Invention of Lying, the Ricky Gervais movie.
I love that movie.
I can't remember. Well, no, 3 movies, actually. I can't remember what scene made me laugh, but boy, I got to laughing. The other one was Bruno when he does the helicopter dick. I just broke.
I love Borat made me laugh hysterically. Bruno,
I loved it.
Had its moments that cracked me up, but overall, it just wasn't as good.
I like Bruno better.
You're crazy.
You're just insecure about your own the more feminine side of your sexuality, man.
It has nothing to do with that or him being gay. It just genuinely didn't make me laugh as much as Borat did.
Can we agree to disagree?
About how funny it is?
About Bruno.
No, I mean, that's straight up. I mean, that's not even an agree to disagree. If you liked it better, then you liked it better. I'm just saying, for me personally, I cracked up way more at Borat because it just, I don't know, it made me laugh a lot more. With Bruno, man, he did some wild stuff.
Dude, you know me, man. You know that's right in my wheelhouse.
But it's hard to narrow it down to just a few, man. I'm really not that hard to make laugh. Like I would love to be one of these artsy fartsy people who could narrow it down to like 1 or 2 movies and then just but Superbad in theaters cracked me up. I laughed so hard at that.
I'm not a natural
not as
laugher.
much now. Yes, you are. You laugh really daily here with me. Yes, you do.
Yeah, but I'm putting it on.
Whatever.
I really don't laugh. But anyway, yeah, Bruno, man, and it was Jackass number 2. I'm pretty sure I laughed out loud watching that. I can't remember what part. But
3 made me laugh really hard too.
Yeah, they were all good. The third one was they rehashed some old bits, but it was still good. I mean, the Jackass crew hasn't ever did anything that was just like, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
All right, Caitlin Howard from 6 days ago. I am 30. I constantly get asked my age when I'm out with my kids. Everyone thinks I'm a teenage mother or the big sister, and sometimes that my daughter is the mother. Wow, that's a strange turn of events.
Yeah.
Just last week, I was refused buying beer. Even though I had my ID, she didn't believe me. My 15-year-old is my stepdaughter, although I guess biologically she could be mine, and as far as I'm concerned, she is just as mine as my boys.
Man, so that means if you would have had her biologically, you'd have had her at 15, which some kids around here have done. So it's definitely possible.
Than that too,
Can you imagine being 30 with a 15-year-old?
I couldn't imagine being 30 with anything.
I mean, I'm like a little over 30 with, which I hate saying our age, but who gives a damn? I mean, I'm a little over 30 with a 2-week-old.
It's wild, man. I'm not ready for it.
Yeah, Caitlin, that's a blessing to be that young looking. Trust me, years to come, you'll be glad you look that young.
Dude, I'm aging like a freaking onion in the sun.
Do onions? Bald. I've never put an onion in the sun. I'll have to try that.
It makes them even worse than they already are. But no, I've got Caitlin Howard on Facebook, man. And she's very beautiful, very vivacious, and she's got a lucky fella at home.
Can you describe vivacious?
Just like a very energetic, springy kind of look, man. Like that. Any fellow would be lucky to marry a woman as beautiful as Caitlin Howard.
Okay.
I'm not saying anything out of line. she's a very lovely woman.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, she's very pretty.
Very pretty. Okay. Heidi Lapanimi. Probably didn't say that right. I'm sure I didn't say that right. But Heidi, 6 days ago, you can call me Heidi Aldercape. That's an easier word to say, but I probably still butchered it. Heidi Aldercape.
Heidi Aldercape.
If you remember it. Lepa equals alder, Niemi equals a cape. When talking about land or a crazy Finn, that's fine too. If you could change one thing in your past, what would it be? I don't even have to think about this. 1,000,000 years ago, when I was 16, I had a chance to spend 4 weeks.
You're
in the
1,000,000 16 years old?
Crazy, right?
Wow.
We got some interesting
Thor
things.
has nothing on you.
No doubt. But yeah, she had a chance to spend 4 weeks in the United States. I decided not to go. I thought I had good reasons at the moment, but later I realized they were pretty stupid reasons. That is the one thing I would change.
Yeah, we would have loved to have had you over here in America. It's never too late, right?
No, never too late.
Just, I mean, if you don't have the money for the flight or whatever, just save up, in a couple of years and make yourself a trip. We'll give you some places you should go. We had somebody ask, but they didn't want like touristy spots. And I'm like, well, I know a few spots around here you can go to, but I don't know if you would consider them worth the trip from another country. But
go to D.C. and get a jumbo slice. No one's asking at this point.
Go to Disney World and get a giant turkey leg. You're welcome.
Man. I've never seen such a thing.
It's like $9, but wow.
Here comes a burp. Ooh, I'm sorry.
You're burping, sneezing, man. Your body's just expelling all kinds of demons this morning.
Would you change anything? You keep it the same?
I would change a lot. Don't get me wrong in the sense of like where I am now and that. When you have a kid, you feel bad saying you would change anything, especially with the butterfly effect. You feel like anything you would change, you might not have your kid. Then you feel like a horrible person for saying that. So before I had a kid or knew I was going to have a kid, then yeah, there was a lot that I would have changed. My life is just a literal pile of regrets. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, dude, I drown in a sea of defeatism as well.
So, there's a lot that I would change. Getting on something that's not so personal or dark, like I'm trying to think of something I had an opportunity to do that I didn't, that's a little lighter, kind of like hers, like going to America. I'm trying to think of, so what's something that you, not so deep, unless you want to go deep, but just something.
I've got a couple, man. Number one, I have a myriad of missed sexual opportunities I'd go back and remedy. I would have taken more advantage of my. I wouldn't have dropped out of university. I would have taken more advantage of that. I might even have joined the military right out of high school, man. Even if just for
that was my plan.
Yeah, I might even just to do a 4-year stint, or maybe finish college and then win. I don't know. I wouldn't have wasted the bulk of my 20s. I guess is basically what I'm saying. And I'm gonna go deep and dark for a minute, man. My cousin that died recently. I would have made peace with him before he died.
That's what I said on Facebook a while back, is you have to realize every time you say goodbye to someone, it could be the last time. Yeah. So make sure there's nothing left unsaid. I've learned that the hard way many times in my life. Like, you talk to somebody and, everything is, you think I'll see them tomorrow, and you say goodbye and you don't realize when they walk out the door that that's it. They ain't never coming back, Yeah,
man, I was going to say, you've told me before, your former colleague here at the station, left work one day and you didn't know as the last time you were going to see him.
Yep, he said he didn't feel all that good. Said he felt, which like this morning, I felt like I got hit by a train. The last 2 mornings, I've woke up feeling hungover, and I don't know why. Right. I went to bed,
Which one good thing with that guy, though, you were on good terms at least. So
yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's still some things left unsaid that I wished I would have. Like, I'd have just gave him a big hug or something if I'd have known that was the last time he was ever going to go through those doors. But yeah, he just went home and died.
Cruel irony of life, man.
My former co-host. So yeah, that was rough. If I could change something, I would have definitely. Which, I mean, you can't know those things though. I mean, especially when someone dies at the age of 24.
Yeah, dude.
You don't expect a 24-year-old to, I mean, like I said, like the last 2 days, it won't no different than me telling you, man, I feel like this morning, I don't feel good. I mean, that's all. It wasn't like he was, I mean, he just was like, man, I feel like I got hit by a train. And then when he left, he was like, I'm going to go. I kept teasing him, too, because Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was coming out.
Right.
And I was going to the midnight thing to pick it up back when I thought midnight releases were worth a damn. And I was teasing him, and I was like, I'm going to call you and wake your ass up about 9, 10 o'clock, man. You going with me? He's like, I ain't never. He always called you Hoss or Boss. He'd be like, man, Boss, I ain't never played a video game, man.
No, man.
Whatever. And pretty much like you, he's like, I used to play Mario. He said, I ain't got no interest in video games. And, and then I got a call at like 10.
Yeah, never got to see him again. As actually my predecessor had my job back in the day, which I have 2 people have come and gone since then.
3
but
people.
Anyway, enough doom and gloom.
3 people.
3? Oh, yeah, that's right. 3 people.
Yeah, you had Blake, then you had Josh, and then you had Aaron, and then you.
Yeah. So.
But I'm trying to think of something lighter. Is there anything else you got?
Like I said, man, just some missed sexual opportunities, the college thing, and the dead cousin. That's pretty much. I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff too, but like as of right now, there's other stuff. But that is, we're gonna get really dark and deep, and it's a Thursday morning.
Go for it, man. Dude, people enjoy the conversation. You go for it. I'm interested to hear yours.
Well, I've told you in the past, my mom, she's got the bipolar stuff going on. And she was in a pretty dark place in her life when I decided to just bounce and skip town and moved up to D.C. for a while. And I kind of felt like I abandoned her in a large way. I did. And I haven't always been as good a son as I could. When you've got a loved one with a mental illness, it can be frustrating. And sometimes you don't always. And like I said, I mean, you can never do enough. It's just one of those things. You can't change someone's brain chemistry.
Right.
You can't base your life around someone else. But I felt like I haven't probably always been the best son that I probably should have been given circumstances. So
there's no time like the present.
Yeah, man. I do, especially after what I said. With my whole cousin, and regular listeners know what I'm talking about. I am trying to be a better person on the day to day, and not just not blow people off that need me in the here and now, and just be I'm trying to be a better me.
Does that mean you might come to South Boston one day?
Now let's not get carried away,
man.
But speaking of,
I might need you. My wanting you to come hang out might be a cry for help.
You got a lot more and better friends than old JP here. If anything, I'm going to make the matter worse.
I doubt that.
Believe me.
I doubt that.
You've got friends that are policemen and family men and businessmen. I'm just a ne'er-do-well, just a ne'er-do-well. I'm not.
But yet somehow I find myself relating to you more than any of them. So.
Oh, dude, that's not good news for you, brother.
Maybe not. So what else? I'll be your therapist today.
Man, I mean, that's probably about it. I mean, I don't know that I can really go back to childhood because, who knew what the hell you were even doing as a kid. So
yeah, I feel like we needed to make those mistakes as kids to figure out who we were going to be when we grew up.
I wish I could have turned my confidence up a little bit earlier in life, but there were hindrances, man. I've got a chest wall deformity that actually has psychological impact and development stuff. And it's not so pronounced now, but when I was a preteen and a teen, man, it was freaking awful. And so it just kind of stunted that. And going from private school to a public high school, in 7th grade, that kind of screwed up my socialization a little bit. So there was stuff here and there. That's probably another thing. I wouldn't have chosen to leave the private Catholic school and get thrown in with the dirty county kids.
The dirty county
kids. But see, my mom's thinking was if I didn't integrate into the county schools, because we lived in the county, I would have ended up in the big city school, and I really would have been thrown to the wolves. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know at the time that just a couple years later, a beautiful magnet school was going to open up in town where a lot of my Catholic school friends went. I'm not Catholic, by the way, but I went to Catholic school. And I would have went there for sure.
Did y'all have to wear uniforms and stuff?
Yeah, man, a white polo shirt and black slacks.
So you look like a Jehovah's Witness going door to door?
Yeah, dude. It was
or
kind of a Mormon look. Yeah.
Mormon look.
But man, I mean, I really do like having worn uniforms and not worn uniforms. I really do think they're a hindrance to the student. They're a distraction. When you have a uniform, you're not focused on what you're wearing, what the other kid's wearing, what band's on your shirt, what name brand you're wearing.
So you're for uniforms?
I am for uniforms. Yeah, absolutely am. Express yourself on your own time.
I want to say that I'm not, but I've never been to a school where I had to wear a uniform, so I feel like I need to experience both before I can really know. But
yeah, man. Well, just like I said, going to public school, all of a sudden I had to worry about like what brand was on my shirt, what everybody else was wearing, whereas before you just put your clothes on and go to school, man. I mean, you might worry a little bit about like what kind of shoes you're rocking, but that was it.
I scared the hell out of this kid one time in like 8th grade. I think it was middle. I don't think it was high school. I think it was middle school. It might have been early. It might have been, if it was high school, it was 9th grade. I was young as hell. But I had these, remember American Eagle used to have those pants everybody wore. They were kind of like wind pants, but they were khakis.
Yeah.
And back then, for some reason, everybody now hates cargo pockets. But back then, cargo khakis were the thing. And they were American Eagle, and they like zipped off under the knee or whatever. And I just remember this kid, and he was very sassy, we'll say. I don't know if he grew up to be... he's definitely one of those kids I could have seen that he would have fit in more today than he did then. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to call him gay, but I mean, he just was very... he was not into things that other people our age were into. And I remember him looking back one time, and he said something about, "Where'd you get those pants? Walmart?" And I was like, American Eagle there, pal. And he's like, he said something, and then I was like, all right, man, let's leave my pants out of this. And he kept going, and I mean, I just kind of went a little berserk. I didn't beat him up or anything, but I just remember like sliding my desk across the thing, and when I was like, if you don't shut your mouth, we're gonna have a lot bigger problems than what brand these pants are. And I mean, I said a few other things that probably aren't appropriate for today's time.
Sounds like a young Isaac Mizrahi or something.
Well, I told him, I was like, I would take them off and show you the brand, but I'm scared you'd like it too much. So shut the fuck up. It was bad. But I mean, he to my defense, he did push it and push it and push it and push it.
And back in those days, man, we weren't as aware of like the social consequences of like bringing up homo eroticism and stuff. It wasn't really like taught back then. Like Jonah Hill, I mean. What he called someone a fag a while back. Someone caught it on camera and ended up on TMZ, and he was just like, that was just like, even The Office did something like that.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous to hold people that are in their 20s and 30s, like accountable for things that they. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some things that I get, but I mean, at the end of the day, man, that's part of growing up and learning. Someone can say a sexual, I guess you'd say, slur or a racial slur when they're growing up. And I'm not saying that's okay, but I'm saying if they've grown up to realize that was not cool and they don't do that anymore, why destroy their entire life over something they said when they were too young to know better? Right. You know what I mean?
With the Jonah Hill situation, he was like it was fairly recent. So he just kind of got pissed off at a paparazzi or something and called him a fag. And I mean, just being in the profession he's in, you'd think he'd know a little better. I mean, but
yeah, that's why I would never want to be an actor or something. I mean, I would, but I mean, it just like
even the small amount of public, like whatever we have, what small little bit of public figure we are. Like, I know better than just go in the mall and be like, hey, saying stuff like that. And I can go off the cuff a little bit, but
that's one regret. I wish I would have focused a little more on music and theater. I was more into being outside and all of that, but I do wish I would have like taken some theater. And I mean, I've played music my whole life, and I mean, I think I'm pretty decent on a guitar. But the thing is, I wish I would have like focused on it, maybe taken some singing lessons.
Oh yeah, dude. Me with writing, man. I wish I'd went to school.
You know what?
Because that's what I had started to want to do was like journalism. And
that's it. I had a chance to go to a writing school in D.C. That's probably one of the biggest. And I stayed for a girl that it didn't last. But of course, when you're that old, you think it will. And I skipped out on that and went to a community college. I do wish I would have went to that writing school.
Yeah, dude. So
there you go. There's some regrets.
There you go. All right, moving on. Brianne McCann, 6 days ago. Did I just read this one? No, I didn't. Hey, guys, first question.
I thought that was part of the comment at first.
No, I was like,
man, she's really thinking out loud there.
First question is for Justin. Who does your daughter most look like? Are there any characteristics of yourself that you hope to God she doesn't get from you?
Pretty much everything. Right. But she looked a lot more like her mom when she came out. But here, it's crazy how fast newborns develop and change. I mean, the first day or two of being born, they have this alien-shaped skull. And then within a few days, it's a normal-looking skull. She looked a lot like her mom, but now people are starting to say that looks similar to me. So she's kind of evolving. She's got her mom's lips. She's got my chin. She's got... she's got baby blue eyes, and I've got bluish gray eyes, and my girlfriend's are more hazel, I guess. So I don't know, man. She's looking more. I'd say more like her mom. Thank God for her sake, she looks more like her mom than she does me right now. Yeah.
All right, well,
but I hope she doesn't.
Left to say
you know what? I hope she doesn't get my temper. That's truly, if there's one thing that I wish, my temper, and. We'll go with temper. I'm hoping she doesn't get my temper. I hope she can just laugh at life more than I can sometimes.
It can be tough, man. It can be tough. All right, Brianne McCann went on to say 5 days ago. The first question was from 6 days ago. This one's from 5 days ago. Next one is for the one and only JP. Brianne, thank you. If you could take anything from Justin, what would you take and why? Well, first off, I would take that sweet, sweet butt of his. I would pound it into butter. And no, I'm just kidding. I have no sexual attraction.
My butt?
Your butt. I would take it. I would take it hard and fast and sloppy. No, not really. I would, number one, I would take his beautiful head of hair. Justin's got a great head of hair, and I'm bald as hell, getting there anyway. So I take his head of hair for sure. I would, Justin, he, we do have similar issues, man, but you have a bit more confidence in yourself than I do. And on one hand, man, I kind of think that would maybe make me less me than I am now. But, man, you have a little bit more confidence, and maybe that's something I could. And I'll just say, as a personality, radio and stuff, I've already taken a lot from Justin. I'm not trying to tongue your balls here, man, but I mean, with delivery and presentation when it comes to radio or podcasting, I've absolutely learned a lot. So
I'll slip you that $20.
Yeah, you go ahead and slip me that. Go ahead and slip me that. But no, man, I don't know. We're getting too sappy.
We don't do that any. So yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I honestly thought that you were going to say you would take like my knife collection or my guns.
No, man, no, absolutely no. I mean, you've got personality traits that I lack, and probably vice versa. And we could probably say that for almost anyone. I mean, who in this world is a completely well-rounded person? Maybe the Dalai Lama.
Steve Carell.
Maybe Steve Carell. Especially like when you're like in your 30s. I mean, nobody's fully formed in their 30s. Get out of here. But yeah.
So if you were like to pull my powers from me, I would be left bald, not confident, right, and not able to talk on the radio.
And brother, let me tell you something. When you're bald, it's hard to be confident. So that just kind of one goes with the other.
Well, we get back in the gym hardcore, and then you could turn that bald look into like a beefy, bald badass, and people will be scared to mess with you.
I'm telling you, man, somebody last night at the grocery store, I work a night shift at a grocery store a couple nights a week, and he did a Snapchat of me, and I'm walking away, and man, I'm just like, geez, Louise, Peppa Cheese, that like bald alcove just spreading further back in my head. And I was just
you said you tried some Rogaine or something once.
I've tried it all, man. Everything besides the surgical option. I've tried Rogaine, obviously. And 2 days in, I went to work, had explosive green diarrhea. I'm not kidding about that. Also gave me headaches, sinus pressure. It didn't agree with me. I'm not, disparaging it. Maybe it works for other people. I also tried a generic form of Propecia. It's essentially a testosterone blocker, and it did work. I was growing my hair back, but I was also getting very sharp pains in my butthole because it has a tendency to enlarge your prostate as it cuts down on your testosterone.
Yeah,
and that can also affect your your erections and stuff.
We know JP can't be going without them erections.
Nah, man. Like I said, I need to jank out at least 3 a day just to keep from crying myself to sleep. So yeah, I've tried plenty of stuff, but there's ain't nothing free. You know what I'm saying?
No, would you consider doing like a hair transplant? I figure in the modern day it can't be that expensive.
Dude,
there's a surgery that I want to do, a cosmetic thing. And right. I mean, it's nothing like a nose job or anything like that, but it's something I want to do. And back when I was a kid, it was like 10,000 like times 2 basically. So it's an eye thing. So it would have been about 20, 30 grand to do. Now I called and priced it a couple weeks ago, and it's like $3,000. I'm like, damn, man, I could just save up and pay for that.
Yeah, man. But like with the hair transplant, I haven't looked into it hardcore, but number one, I don't get what it doesn't seem to me like it would nip it in the bud. It just seems like you'd get hair back and you'd lose it all over again.
It worked for Steve Carell. Yeah, well, coming back around full circle.
I was going to say, man, these rich, I know a lot of rich guys get stuff like that done, and I'm sure they just have the money and resources to keep it maintained, you know. I mean, a lot of these like transplant procedures, you might be looking at like 10 grand, and you might need 3 procedures. I mean, I could end up being like $50,000 in the hole just for a full head of hair, which honestly at times kind of doesn't sound like such a bad deal, but... And I know the dude that owns the music store down the road, man. I remember when he got his hair transplant, and maybe it looks all right now, which he's kind of went bald all over again, like I said before. But when he first got it, man, it was like raw hamburger on top of his head, dude. It was not easy to look at.
Well, and if I got famous, one thing I would do that some people, like my girlfriend, and think it's weird. I'm like, I would do it. A lot of celebrities do it. If I got rich, I'd have every one of my teeth pulled and replaced with like veneer teeth.
Oh my God, dude, not me.
Then think about it, man. Like you got this perfect set of teeth, and they stay white. They're easier to maintain. You replace them.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of advantages, but my teeth ain't nothing pretty, ain't nothing to write home about. But I like
yeah, mine are the same way. I mean, mine aren't terrible. I've got one in the back that's broke.
That's another regret, man. I wish I had got braces when I was younger.
Me too. I had a chance to get braces. My mom asked me. My sister got them, and my mom asked me if I wanted to get them, and I was like, no, I'm happy with the way I am. And then now I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, man. Like
shut you little shit. Get them damn braces.
My orthodontist was like, you need them somewhat. I mean, your bottom row's a little slanted. You got an overbite. He was like, it's not the end of the world if you don't get them. So
that's pretty much the same.
Yeah, it gave me the choice, and I wish I'd have taken
I've got like a little gap in the front, and they were like, it'll correct that, and it'll, do this and that. And I was like, no. And now I'm like, why didn't I just do that? But my parents did. My teeth are I have to be easy. I have sensitive teeth. I got it from my parents, and I have to be careful because like I brush them twice, at least twice a day, and but they're I don't think they're as strong as other people's teeth. So right. Yeah, that's the main reason. I wouldn't do a lot of body modifications if I became famous, but that is one. And like I said, primarily because I feel like as I get older, they're going to break, and I would just go ahead and nip that in the butt.
One thing I can say, I got my wisdom teeth out like 5 years ago. I was late to the party on that, but my teeth have kind of like straightened out a little, and it's just not having that pressure applied at the corners.
I feel like mine have never hurt me, but I feel like I can feel them in the back.
Yeah, man.
Under the skin.
It's best to nip that in the bud for sure, man. But I'm no dentist. I'm just JP the...
You know who was a dentist?
Who was?
Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday, yeah. I was thinking the same thing after you said that. So, yeah, I don't know. That would have been all right. Anyway, Corey Andros 5 days ago. Justin, that book idea is awesome.
Oh, I'm glad you think so.
You should do it, and JP is so right. Everything is derivative nowadays. The best way to go is to lean into the derivatives like I'm doing with my post-apocalypse zombie book I'm writing. Satire allows you to really have fun with the genre.
Which idea was it? Was it the zombie idea or the time travel idea?
I don't know, man. I know you've discussed a few of your story ideas. I can't remember which one you covered last.
Somebody's going to take it and make it into like a major Hollywood blockbuster, and I'm just going to be like telling my daughter for years to come, that was my idea.
Yeah, man. That's why you got to get some kind of copyright on this thing.
Yeah, I just need some motivation. I get like real. I mean, I've finished some of them, but I'm not very. You talk about confidence. I am a pretty confident person in some things, but as far as my writing, I think it's one of those. I think it's kind of like singing. Like I know I can sing okay, right. And I think my writing is okay, but I think I'm scared. And it really is just a fear of rejection. It's like it's like this. I don't mind getting rejected on many other things. Mm-hmm. Like not being the best at this or that. It's cool. I'm fine being second, third, whatever. But with those are the one thing I feel like I do better than most of my, my friends or people that I know. So I'm terrified that like I'll publish it and it'll be terrible. And then I'm like, well, I don't have that either.
Yeah, man, that's what hinders me with writing and stand up. And it's one of those things where I've been in like a creative writing workshops and open mics. And a lot of the times I am like, I hate to admit it to myself, but I'm a lot better than a lot of the other people.
Oh, yeah. And then you don't want to get somewhere and they tell you you're terrible. And then you're like, well, damn it. I thought I had that. At the end of the day, everybody has all these talents. I thought I at least had these.
But no, man, like the first open mic I went to, there was this dude who was like the winner of like the North Carolina Who's Funniest, whatever. And he did his set, and I was just like, well, that was nothing special. I can do better than him. And sure enough, man, my lesbian octopus bit, it killed. Had other
octopi, right?
Yeah, had other comics biting off my material the rest of the night. Anyway, enough of me patting myself on the back.
No, man, you need to pat yourself. I feel like you have more confidence if you're more willing to pat yourself on. You got to pat yourself on the back sometimes.
But the funny thing is, a big part of why my stand-up works is I'm so self-deprecating.
Right.
So it's a weird, and a lot of comics are like that.
I mean, that's part of the key to the confidence is you got. I mean, you don't have to be cocky, but you got to be able to be okay admitting that you're good at stuff.
Well, I said Monday will be the 3-year anniversary of my first stand-up. My first of all, like 3 stand-ups I've done.
Time is flying.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I remember when you went to it.
Yeah, and I'm going to do one this coming week. Just it's anniversary week. I'm going to make myself do it.
Okay, I will hold you to that.
Hold me to it, brother. All right, Corey Andrews goes on to say from 5 days ago, and you're right. This is directed to you. Days Gone By is like a nice blend of diff games like RDR2,
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay, Far Cry, etc. I don't know if you guys have played The Last of Us. I sure
loved it. Awesome.
But it's
Great
basically
story.
like an open world version of that game, which is probably why I love it so much.
Yeah, I'm with you, Corey. Last of Us, I'm sure a question for you. We'll flip it around on you. You excited for Last of Us 2? They've been, showing some gameplay and stuff now. I'm really stoked to see where that's going to go because the first one was just like, I give that like a perfect 10 out of 10. It was a great game.
Well, there you go. All right, Ryan Owen, 4 days ago, mail call. So word on the street is you shit yourself when you pass over to the other side. Now go back and watch all your favorite death scenes with this in mind.
I already do.
Yeah. Rip our poopy pant warriors. So my question is, what smells more, Winterfell post Ice King or Winterfell post Battle of the Bastards? I have my answer.
That is a really cool question, Ryan. That's awesome, dude.
I think just the Battle of Winterfell, it was so cold, the smell wouldn't have been as potent as the Battle of the Bastards when it was
it's all hot. And
yeah. So, I don't know. That's just my thought.
That's a good one. I was going to say the Battle of Winterfell just because it was so many dead bodies and, White Walkers and stuff. Right. I mean, that's the thing when those White Walkers come at you. That's the thing. See, Ryan, our brains must be wired to, I already think about that. I've thought about the fact long ago that, man, all these zombies coming after you have poopy pants. You know what I'm saying? All of these zombies on top of you have got duty in the draws or going down their leg or whatever. And I've always thought about in the movies where the girl dies and the guy's holding her in his arms and he picks her up, or when they're carrying Beth out of the hospital after she gets shot in the head. She's got duty in her drawers and Daryl's hand's only 2 inches away from it.
Yeah, man.
I think about those things, Ryan. Well, I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that thinks that way.
He goes on to say, and yes, I called them poopy pants just to hear you say it. LOL. Love you guys. And we love you too. Also,
that we do.
K-Burn, I probably didn't say that right. Uh-oh. Hold on, phone's doing weird things. K-Burn being killed by his own creation was very Frankenstein-esque.
It was awesome.
Showing up.
That was one of my favorite parts, other than the mountain and other than the mountain fighting the hound. That was one of my favorite parts because I hated that little bastard.
All right. Next, from 2 days ago, our old pal from the UK, Dan Ashdown, mail call. And warning, it's going to be a long one.
Oh, boy.
You're not going to say that's what she said?
That's what she said.
Okay, there we go. I don't know if it's happening in America as well, but this week in the UK is Mental Health Awareness Week. And it's
we have a month or something for that, right?
There's a week a day for everything.
Yeah, I feel like we have something. I don't know if it's right now. We have something for that at some point.
And it's all about trying to make sure people know it's okay not to be okay, and that talking to people can save lives. I really said that weird. And that talking to people can save lives. So my question to you guys is, what would be your best advice to someone who is struggling with mental health issues? And have you ever had experiences yourself? That's kind of what we've been talking about all podcasts.
Yeah, so you're not alone, brother.
I've told you both before about my struggles and how much you both helped me through the hardest time in my life.
No.
And I'm forever grateful Talking about it makes you realize how many people really care. So to anyone out there struggling, just remember everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, then it's not the end. Cheers, guys, and sorry again for the long comment.
Oh,
Keep
don't
up
apologize.
The good work.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
we like it, man. And I'm a little too cynical for quite so much cheery optimism, but because everything will be okay in the end. Except for people who successfully commit suicide. That's not.
Well, they're at rest now.
Yeah, we're all gonna die. So that's
what I would say is that no matter how bad you think it is, somebody will miss you. That's the way to look at it, because somebody out there, if you weren't here, and I'm not even saying, not even people suicidal, just people that are going through depression or feel like, because I don't like to open up it too much, and I just say this to help anybody because we've gotten, as you see, I hate when people like that have shows or whatever throw out things and you feel like it's just to get views or get, whatever. But so we won't stay on this long. But Dan, I was diagnosed with depression when I was like 16 or 17, and it ain't really got much better as I get older. But at the end of the day, whether you're depressed or you're, just remember, no matter what, somebody out there is going to miss you. Somebody, if you weren't here, if you just faded away from existence today, somebody's life would just be shook to the core. I promise you that. And it might not even be who you think it is. That's the thing about life. It's what's beautiful and what's kind of tragic at the same time is you don't know how you affect everybody around you. There may just be the guy that you pass on the street every day and say morning to. And you don't realize how your cheerful attitude to him could really just be improving his life. So, no matter what, man, at the end of the day, it's worth you being here.
I'm telling you, man, what gets me through the lows, man, like when I'm in the valley, is not that, who's going to miss me and all that stuff. It's just, I just say to myself, you think you've got it so bad, you think no one's ever had it worse than you, stop being such a pussy, and, just
see, I don't think that's fair, though. Well, when it's mental illness, yes, if somebody's sopping over something silly during the day, like, oh, I didn't get that job I wanted, whatever, then it's like, dude, or like, man, I had to spend $400 on my car, then you can be like, man, look how many other people have it so much worse. Look how many people need their car fixed but don't have that $400 to spend on that car. I do talk myself into things like that, but when it comes to just a straight up mental illness, man, it's not really That's why I hate that video by that guy that I hate. Number one, I'm cynical. I hate inspirational videos. I hate them because it just.
Me too. We have a mutual friend who puts inspirational crap online all the time.
It's one of the most cynical people I know. But on Facebook, oh man. But yeah, no, a lot of those things. I'm not saying there aren't some good ones out there. Yes, I've seen some things that have inspired me, but I'm saying these like self-proclaimed.
Like the Joel Osteens of the world.
And it's it's a guy on Facebook that has a video. You've probably heard it or seen it. It's called You're Not Depressed. That's bullcrap, man. If you have a mental illness, you have a mental illness. You can't help it. It's not. That's what the people don't get about things. And when I say I had depression, keep in mind, though, man, I'm not like majorly depressed, so I don't want that to come across like but I'm saying like, it's not, and I've dealt with people that have had major depression, man. You can't talk people out of that. You might be able to say something that helps them and can kind of change the swing of their mood. But at the end of the day, they can't help the way the brain chemistry is. And that's why, just being there for them can do more than trying to say the right thing.
Right.
So I tell people when somebody dies or whatever, man, it's not so much about what you say or what you do. It's just being there. Like when you have somebody pass away, it's not so much who tells you what, because I really don't think when somebody loses somebody that you're going to say something that's just going to give them that movie moment of clarity and they're going to be like, I'm okay with it now. You just need to be there for them. Let them get through it in their own way.
My go-to is, I wish I knew what to say. Because that's honest. I wish I knew what to say. I don't know what to say.
I never know what to say.
I hate people, man. And for me, and again, let me clarify.
You do hate people.
Yeah, I do hate people. But no, what I said about, don't be such a pussy, that's not something I would ever say to someone. I know that's
what you say to yourself.
That's what I used to pick myself up.
Right.
I would never, that's not clinical advice. That's what I...
Yeah, it's like someone's like, I've been diagnosed with, yada, 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 yada. Quit being a pussy.
Stop being such a pussy, man.
Yeah, don't do that.
Why don't you think about Joan of Arc? She got burned alive, and you're complaining about your feelings. But no, that's why it's the same way, like if I have to get blood drawn, I think to myself, Man, there's people in Africa getting like hacked up with hatchets right now.
Right.
And you're crying about getting some blood drawn. So that's how I pick myself up. That's not advice or a critique of anyone or anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and think about it. If you're feeling like you don't belong here, whatever. I mean, just think of all of those tons of sperm. You're the one that made it. The odds of you being here are pretty impressive when you think about it. I mean, you had a bunch of other sperm to compete with, all these people on the planet. I mean, you being here is really a really cool thing when you think about how many people are on the planet and all the right circumstances it took for you to be created and made. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I know mental health is a different subject, but I mean, just find purpose too. If you're depressed or and sometimes depression isn't necessarily a mental issue as it is like it's just circumstances. You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily like a hardcore chemical thing. It's just life itself is. So just, if that's what it is, and maybe it's just where you're living or the things you're doing, or you just don't feel like you have purpose, or you don't, go out and find it.
Whether you're a quote unquote writer or not, just writing, getting your feelings down on paper for me helps. That and for me, reading Charles Bukowski.
And talk to somebody about it.
Yeah,
like people like I'm very cynical with therapists because I'm definitely not an expert on psychology, but I studied it a little bit in college, and I know some of the things they look for and some of the responses. But at the end of the day, it's not so much going to a therapist to have them tell you all the answers. It's just going to a therapist and knowing you can say whatever you want, aside from, I'm going to mass murder a bunch of people.
Man.
Anything else you say is between you and that person, and you can get things off your chest. So, I mean, really, don't underestimate the power of therapy. I'm cynical on it, too, or I used to be, but I promise you, just getting these things off your chest and saying them out loud and knowing someone else is hearing them can really do a lot for you.
I wish we had an audio clip from The Sopranos. They're talking about psychiatry, and Tony's mom, this old, obviously an old woman, she goes, psychiatry, it's a racket for the Jews.
And keep in mind too that neither one of us are psychology experts by any means. No, so
I've watched
definitely
a lot of Frasier, but that's it.
More so than us, go see a therapist because I'm happy to tell you my thoughts, but don't take anything I say as like the final word because we're just a couple of schmucks on the internet talking.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, brother, we got to start rolling. It's already after 10 o'clock. We still got more mail calls. Corey Andros from one day ago says, mail call. Hey guys, which character story arc are you most excited about other than Negan? Because we are all pumped for what's ahead with him in The Walking Dead Season 10. I'm probably most pumped to see what happens with my girl Rosita now that she survived the Pikes. I was so expecting / prepared for her to die, LOL, and what they do with her story. But it'll be cool to see what happens to Ezekiel too, obviously. I also expect some strong arcs for Aaron and Father Gabe in Season 10.
I believe it or not, as much as I've given him slack, I'm kind of excited to see where Daryl's going. I feel like he's gotten new purpose now. I feel like he's been better written. Daryl and Carol, and it really is hard to narrow it down. I'm excited to see where Rosita goes. I was really excited to see where Tara was going to go, but it's kind of been axed, kind of literally there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who are you most excited to see?
Oh, man, I don't even have Walking Dead on the brain right now. Daryl, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm excited to see it come back on.
It's a lot of great story arcs. Definitely Daryl. Let me think. Alpha.
Yeah.
I would say Jesus, but
But yeah, honestly, and he said we're not allowed to say it, but Negan. I'm pumped for Negan. That's what I'm thinking about.
I am. Negan is probably my number one.
Yeah, in my eyes, he's kind of the new lead, so to speak, even though he wasn't on it that much. But anyway,
I'm going to go with Daryl.
Go with Daryl, and I will go with myself. All right.
King Ezekiel. I want to see where he's going to go. That's a good one because he's kind of now like irritated with Daryl and
man.
King Ezekiel because he's kind of turned around a little bit.
I'm excited for the season just in general.
They started filming.
Oh yeah. And what's her name? Maggie. She just put out a press release about Whiskey Cavalier getting canceled.
What did she say? I didn't see that.
I saw it, but I didn't read it. But I think she's basically just kind of, being apologetic, kind of setting herself up to go back to The Walking Dead. I don't know exactly. I need to read the article, but I did see that she made a statement. So, anyway. All right, one so true, 21 hours ago. Mail call. Hey, guys, I posed a question in the Batman video last week. I looked for it. I didn't see it.
Yeah, we went and looked for that, and we couldn't find it.
I was looking forward to your answers, but I guess I was late for the podcast. I'm sure tomorrow you'll answer for me.
Well, we had the intention to. We did go to that video. I'll have to check and see if it got somehow spammed or something.
I don't know. We'll try to get on that for you. All right, and goes on to say, mail call. Justin, I didn't catch the name of you and wifey gave your daughter.
Girlfriend.
You named her girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay.
No, my girlfriend. I've had a couple of people. There's one woman in town where we live that keeps calling her my wife, and I don't know if she's like deeply religious or something, so I don't want to correct her and be like, oh, no, it's my girlfriend. We're not actually married.
I'm telling you, man, it's our generation, we don't care about the top sheet on the bed. And unlike previous generations, we don't feel this inherent need to rush into marriage just because of a pregnancy.
And you know what? They can say what they want. I seriously think at least, probably more than 50% of people I know that went off and got married in like their early 20s with this generation. Now, older generations went the distance sometimes, but our generation, man, a lot of them, which they say apparently divorce is on the decline. I think that might be because less people are getting married, but a lot of the people around here that got married young, they're divorced now and on to like their second or third marriage or relation. You know what I'm saying? So I always was like, when it hits me, it'll hit me.
Yeah, man. And, I think a lot of that also has to do with people aren't rushing to get married as soon as they get someone pregnant. It's...
Well, and that gave me even more reason to not want to, because I didn't want people to think I was getting... if I get married, I want it to be because, I love her, not because, people are like, oh, well, he knocked her up, and now you see he's put a ring on it. Like, no, I want it to be about us when we get married, not,
man. People, when people bring up marriage to me, I'm like, well, my family has a long-standing tradition of proposing marriage when someone's pregnant. When no one's pregnant, to my knowledge right now. So.
But no, her name, I'm not the one that picked out her name. The only thing I contributed was the last name. But I like what I call her, and half of it, circling back, is because The Last of Us. But her name's Eloise May, and I call her Ellie.
Okay, I like it.
I like Ellie. It's. I was like, I'm cool with Ellie. I wanted to name her Arya, to be honest with you. I just love, not even so much like, oh, you're named after a Game of Thrones. I just think it's a pretty name, man. It sounds strong. It's pretty.
All right. Well, one so true goes on to say, mail call. JP, I'll start with you. Wait a minute.
It's like we're in the principal's office. JP, I'll start with you.
Okay, yeah. No, I did. No, I'm in the right order. JP, I'll start with you since I'm sure you had to change plenty of bed sheets daily. No, I had a
That's the scary thing is he doesn't.
Well, I've always had a good rotation of garments to catch the waste matter. Jism t-shirts and what have you. So, no, my bed sheets rarely see any saturation. Unless I pee the bed, which hasn't happened in a while either. Okay, who was your favorite pinup girl back in the day? Celebrity-wise, I'm sure you had more than one. Pinup girl. Trish Stratus, man. She was a WWF diva back in the day. I definitely got some wrestling mags and cranked out quite a few to her. And other than that, it was just chicks on TV, like Leah Remini on
Oh, man, she was so hot, man. I used to, back with King Queens, I thought she was so hot.
And Donna from that 70s show. Believe it or not, Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld. It's not like she's super hot.
Did her and Jerry hook up one time in the show?
Yeah, that was the basis of their friendship. They used to be together, but then they were just friends. But yeah, just the fact that
I remember she gets down to like lingerie one time.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's have sex or something. And like, I remember as a kid, I was like, oh man, what's happening down there?
Yeah. And it's like Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I mean, she's hot, but she's not like a knockout. But just the fact that she was this sexually open woman just turned me on, man. So yeah, we'll go with those. Trish Stratus of WWF as far as actual magazines, if you're talking pinup. Tori Wilson also, she was WCW, but then went to WWF. She some big old boobs. So, yeah, we'll go with those. And Justin, who was your favorite man crush before Rick? LOL.
Going back before The Walking Dead. Let me think. Who was my man crush before that? Because it definitely has been Rick for a long time. Even with him gone, it's still Rick. I don't know, man. Like, I always like, I'm trying to think like off of shows or movies. Bam Margera was when I was young. I used to think he was the man. Like, and he was such a douche. Like, I go back now and I watch old like, what is that show he had?
Viva La Bam.
Viva La Bam. And I mean, he was an ass. Like, he just really acted like a spoiled brat. But I don't know, for some reason, growing up, like, I just wanted to be, I just thought he was the coolest dude ever,
My pal Josiah, same thing. That was his hero growing up. He actually went to, what was it, Westchester? Is that what his hometown?
Pennsylvania, yeah.
Yeah, he actually went there and visited all the places from Viva La Bam. He couldn't find Bam's house, though.
No kidding.
But yeah, he went there. It's wild, man. He went up there to see a CKY concert. And then, like, after the concert, they went and explored that town. So
yeah, probably Bam Margera growing up. I just thought he was the man. Tony Hawk was a big man crush hero of mine. I don't know, man. I always like Steve Irwin.
Yeah. I
don't know if that was a man crush, because he was just so enjoyable to watch. But, yeah, probably Bam Margera, which I'm nothing like now. So I'm glad that stayed where it was.
All right, moving on. 18 hours ago, Alex Jimenez says, mail call. Have you guys seen any of the behind-the-scenes drama in regards to Brie Larson and the MCU? It seems that there is a polarizing issue involving Larson and her political agenda. It has turned off a lot of fans. Do you think people can idolize an actor because they enjoy a character? Is it necessary to distinguish between the two? They say never meet your heroes, although I met some Walking Dead cast, and they were really nice.
I think, I think that it's perfectly fine to like someone, their character, but not like their. I mean, there's plenty of actors out there who I love them in their roles, but behind the scenes, I don't think I'd like them at all. You know what I mean? I don't think I would get along with them. Maybe I don't agree with them. But no, I think that it's important to understand that they are actors. So the person on that screen, and I mean, sometimes you can't help it, but I mean, like, you just need to learn to put that past. The person on the screen is not the person that they are in real life, like that they're playing a role. It's just like getting mad at Norman Reedus for not being badass with a crossbow in real life. Like, no, Daryl is badass with a crossbow. Daryl and Norman Reedus are two separate people.
Yeah, man. I haven't heard of this drama, but I'm surprised there is drama.
There looks like I've seen videos where she just seems, in my opinion, it almost just seems even more so than political. Like, she just came in with this, I'm a boss ass attitude, and just kind of, I think too, it's because you got to think, like, I mean, it's like having this group of friends for so long, and then somebody just jumps up in there and starts trying to call the shots, and you're like, because she definitely seems to, like, at least from the outside looking in, back in the day, she seemed a lot more social. It almost seems like, number one, she doesn't know how to socialize with people. But two, I think it has a lot to do with they were really tight-knit. They've all been together for a long time, been in the MCU, and then here she comes, this brand new character. And yes, she might be the most powerful, but at the end of the day, she's still new to them, and she just kind of just tries to jump right in there like she's been with them forever. And I think it looks like it irritates them.
Well, it's just when he says a polarizing issue involving Larson and her political agenda, Captain Marvel was definitely pushing a political agenda. Wow. And I can't see it almost seems to me like they must have recruited her for that role because she's, super liberal and stuff. I mean, it was definitely, a big social commentary on stuff like, Muslim refugees, that's been a big deal in recent years. Obviously, the southern border, refugees from Mexico and Central America and South America coming over. I mean, that is basically just a big propaganda piece about that stuff. And, I'm not going to get into all that and my opinions on that.
Well, the good thing about JP is regardless of the politics in a show or movie or comic, agree or disagree with his politics. JP's just kind of like me, just don't really want politics in it. Like, just tell a story. I mean, everything's political, we know, but I mean, don't make it so freaking obvious.
I don't mind some social commentary. I mean, that's like kind of the roots of science fiction in a lot of ways in comic books. But when you take a long-established villains like the Skrulls, and I'm getting into spoiler territory, but Captain Marvel has been out for a long while. But when you just soften them up to push a political agenda. And, I wouldn't have wanted to see Captain Marvel and have it all about the importance of, like, building a massive wall or something any more than I want to see it about, sympathizing for,
refugees.
And I'm not saying I don't have sympathy for refugees. And like I said, that we're getting ready to open a can of worms.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, I mean, what you're saying is you said you don't want one pushing the narrative that you want a wall, but you also don't want one pushing a narrative of, like, that. You just want to watch a superhero movie, especially, like I said, the Skrulls. I mean, you take a long-standing villain and then you just completely change them up to push a narrative.
And I mean, dude, it was just so on the nose. It was so blatant. Like I said, I mean, in my eyes, it was a straight-up propaganda piece. And I know that, you're always going to have social issues addressed and stuff like this, but to me, it was just a big propaganda piece, and I won't watch it. I didn't like it.
Oh, man.
So that's just me.
On the other hand, though, speaking of female superhero films, though, I think we can both agree that we absolutely loved Wonder Woman.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was a big fan of Wonder Woman.
That's the thing, too. They acted like if you didn't like Captain Marvel, you were against, like, feminism or you were against female characters. And I'm like, no, Wonder Woman I loved Wonder Woman. You know, I didn't dislike Captain Marvel nearly as much as you did. But, I mean, now that you've mentioned those things, I'm like, damn, they really did shove politics in our face.
Yeah.
But Wonder Woman was another one with a strong female lead that I freaking love. That's one of my favorite superhero films ever.
Yeah,
I thought it was awesome.
I'm all for a strong female lead. I'm a friend of women. I'm a friend of lesbians. I love the videos they put on the internet.
Oh, God.
I watch them very often. Anyway, last comment for the podcast. Man, Mail Call is usually our shortest podcast of the week. We've
had 2 in a row. 2 days go over an hour.
Yeah, man. Rain DeVos, good old Rain, just 7 hours ago. Mail Call. Would you cut your foot off to own the rights for the concept of the flying car? You hold all the rights to sell it, and it'll probably make millions. If yes, would you do it without a local anesthetic, I guess, and with a rusty saw?
No.
Yeah,
I ain't even got to finish. No.
If still yes, would you let the German scientist who developed it to have its way with you for one night? Credits to Kevin Smith for thinking of this scenario. This sounds insane. This sounds like something Kevin Smith would say. I'm telling you, man, I like his work. I really don't go out of my way to watch his interviews or stuff because he's so freaking long-winded. That's a thing for another time. I do enjoy Kevin Smith's work quite a bit. But I would never cut off an appendage. It's actually one of my greatest fears is losing an appendage, be it a finger, a foot, a toe, whatever, my penis. So I'm not going to go in for any of that. Although if this German scientist had this kind of technology, maybe he could make me a cyborg. But I still, no. No for me. No across the board.
Oh, man, I found something really cool on YouTube.
But I might have sex with the German scientist.
I was looking. The only reason I found this is I wasn't being distracted. I was going to look, make sure there weren't any other comments and on the other videos. Uh-huh. But actually, somebody did a real time. And spoilers, if you haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp or Infinity War, which you are very late to the party, but you might not want to hear this. But somebody took a side-by-side of Infinity War and Ant-Man and the Wasp and put it in real time, where they disappear. They lined it up side by side with when Thanos snaps his finger to show you when. Right. That's Hank Pym, and that's awesome, dude. Yeah. Super cool.
Crazy. Good
but
stuff.
Anyways.
Well, that's it for the mailbag.
If we missed your question, please comment it here on Mail Call. If it's on other videos, obviously this one went an hour, and we must have missed it. Please just take it, copy and paste that bad boy onto this video, and I promise you we'll get to it next time. If it's on Mail Call, we will not miss it. We try to look at other videos too, but sometimes we get to go on Mail Call and just don't even get a chance to go to the other ones. So.
Yeah.
If you want to follow us,
put that hashtag in there.
If you want to follow us on social media, JP, what is your Instagram and your Periscope?
Instagram, which I'm starting to put more on there, but anyway, it's a J_Radsaw. Jasper Radsaw is my pen name, and I didn't want people I know latching on. The Instagram's more for my use and for fan service, so J_Radsaw on Instagram. Periscope, which I'm getting back on my scope, I've been slacking lately, is JPSLIM. That's it, JPSLIM on Periscope.
There you go. To get me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Periscope, just look up I'm Justin Lloyd. That's all lowercase, no apostrophes, no nothing. 2 L's in Lloyd. Just I'm Justin Lloyd, all lowercase. Again, Snapchat, Instagram, and Periscope.
Boom.
And we will catch you on Monday as we cover the very last episode of Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Ever.
And if you're down, the following Monday, we'll do a full season recap.
And some people have accused us of, well, I don't know if they've accused us, but they've kind of hinted towards like we just don't see the negatives in this show. Oh, we do. We just figure you get enough negatives, and if you're looking up stuff on the internet about it, you probably don't really feel like listening to someone dog your favorite show. So on the recap, we're definitely going to go through and discuss gripes. That's going to be kind of more of an unfiltered, type deal. But yeah, so not unfiltered in the sense we're going to curse, though, talking about Game of Thrones. We might get passionate.
It's going to be crazy, just totally raw.
I did not understand that. I was not, when you asked me, okay. I thought raw had a completely different meaning, but now I see
you're talking without a condom, condomless sex.
Okay,
yeah, that might happen.
We're going to renegotiate the contract terms of that podcast, and in the meantime, we will catch you on Monday. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.